Mark, Maria, hey, thank you for coming in. We appreciate you collecting all of that data, and we've prepared a comprehensive financial plan that you can take home with you today and go over, digest it, get all of the questions together, and bring it back in, and we'll establish a roadmap from which we can implement the recommendations. Today, in our short period of time, I thought I'd go over just an overview of what's contained in the plan and give you some notions of what to expect. I first wanted to identify some of the goals that we had set out in the plan, and one of them is to become very aware of your strengths and weaknesses. Now, the weaknesses are very important, as hard as they may be to face sometimes, but that's what we're here to correct, and we're glad you came in. The education of your children, a very important goal, and we've been asked to calculate for Rick and James what the funding level is necessary to provide for $22,000 of private college education when they both turn 18, and that's in today's dollars, assuming 6% educational inflationary costs. Now, we were asked not to consider Emma, but in the plan you'll see that there are some calculations related to that, and I think that you might behoove you to take a look at what might be achieved by considering her this early. On the investment side, in addition to any other observations that we have, we calculate the geometric and arithmetic returns of John's management of Maria's investment portfolio, calculate the internal rate of return of the Fierce Mutual Growth Fund of Marks. We calculate the coupon, and also we measure the sensitivity of Maria's bonds to a 1% interest rate rise. And we calculate the Sharpe Trainer ratio on Maria's funds and recommend the best one of these measures to use. In insurance, we go through all the coverages and especially explain the disability policy, and we go over when it would pay given a hypothetical date of disability. For example, Mark asked if it was May 30th, 2017, and we've established that. And are the benefits taxable? Taxes, of course, we want to reduce taxes. We want to specifically to list out what is available for itemization, in case that might be a good thing to do on your 1040. Retirement, we calculate how much is needed to have you 80% of your pre-retirement income available as an income in retirement 17 years from now. That retirement we made the assumption that it will last for 25 years and excludes Social Security. The estate, we reviewed the estate, and we have determined all of the deficiencies that are there and explained why each is important. We've calculated Mark's current estate value that is subject to probate, and we've explained the probate process. We've explained also the pros and cons of having Sarah as a contingent beneficiary, and also any other concerns that have come up in our review of the estate process. We have another category called Other, which simply identifies the other issues that have come up that may not be in one of the above categories that we list there, and there are quite a few in there for you to digest, and we think they're worth mentioning. Overall, we have the strengths and weaknesses. The important strength is that you're cash flow positive, and you should be congratulated on that. Also, you have good salary increase projections, 5% per year. That's very good. And by our calculations, the education of Rick and James is already fully funded. So you should take some relief in that. On the weaknesses side, well, we think that since there's no provision for Emma, either for education or what happens in the event that both parents die, that it would really be a good idea to consider at age 2 now how inexpensive it would be to start moving towards that education versus waiting, which is what unfortunately most people do. So we've taken that and illustrated that and exactly how much that would be cost in case that's something that you might want to consider. Another weakness is that both incomes and health insurance come from one company, and while your current company that you both work for may be very stable, if something happened to that company, that it would affect both the incomes instead of just one. Another weakness is that there's no umbrella insurance, and this is an inexpensive way to cover catastrophic liabilities. An important weakness is that you're not taking advantage of the 401k. And with a company match of 50% of what you contribute up to 3%, it's just about imperative that you take advantage of this this wonderful vehicle by which you can automatically build towards the retirement that you seek. Maria is now eligible for a catch-up contribution, although she's restricted to the amount of earned income and the provisions of the plan. On the life insurance, one of the Mark's policies is made out to his mother, and we'd like to check that out and see if that was intentional or if it was an oversight that maybe he hasn't looked at the beneficiary for a long time. And be sure it's the largest policy, $200,000, and the absence or the inclusion of that in the financial picture is significant. The other policy that's in Mark's name is payable to the estate, and there is no will. So, in the will, a will governs what happens to a decedent's estate property. So this policy would actually pay to Mark's estate, and without there being a will, there would have to be a court order. Maria would have to take the documents, prove that she is in fact the spouse that's legally entitled to the money, and have to go through some hoops to get those funds. So we think that it's very important that not only a will, but there are other estate documents that are actually very easily obtained they have to be written by an attorney in our state. And there are advance directives, for example, for health care. There are financial powers of attorney, then there are general powers of attorney. They're called durable power of attorney. In case either one of you is incapacitated, the other can act for that person. And just general instructions on what would happen, what should happen, what are your wishes in the event of your death or incapacity. We've gone over quite a few areas, and I wanted to be sure that you look through this entire plan. I know it's been very carefully done, and I would like to see you back after you've had a chance to digest it. So, Mark and Maria, thank you for coming in. Thank you for letting us help you in this financial planning. I look forward to seeing you in your next appointment, where we schedule and implement the roadmap to implement the recommendation.